The topic we're about to discuss may not be suitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
Today's show is about resilience, the mind and body's incredible power to heal, and how you have the capability to overcome the unimaginable. Now, you all remember the story that shook the nation when 3 young women from Cleveland were freed after having been abducted and held captive and tortured for 10 years. 2 of the victims, Amanda Berry and Gina Dejesus, are here, speaking out alongside their families in a daytime exclusive interview about what really happened in that house. Now, the house, 2207 Seymour Avenue, that's the infamous Cleveland address where they were held captive, just miles from home. It has since been demolished, but the women who were held inside are still standing. Have they been able to rebuild? Today, the truth comes out.
Help me, I'm Amanda Berry.
You need police, fire, or ambulance.
I need police.
May 6, 2013. Amanda Berry places a frantic 911 call from a neighbor's house moments after a daring breakout.
I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years and I'm here, I'm free now.
Amanda, along with 2 other girls, Gina Dejesus and Michelle Knight, had been missing for a decade, imprisoned in this rundown Cleveland house. Their captor, Ariel Castro, a school bus driver who would come to be known as the Cleveland Kidnapper. Castro was a violent sexual predator who lured each girl into his car and then into the house he converted into a gruesome prison. Locked down, alarmed, and boarded up from within. But Castro's primary shackle was fear. At times, he punished his victims with brutal beatings or threatened them menacingly with his gun. The basement was a dungeon where the girls were chained, raped, and tortured, deprived of food and robbed of their youth. Gina Dejesus was only 14 when she disappeared. Amanda Berry, 16. And Michelle Knight, 21. Castro did leave the girls an old black and white TV. Over the years, they would catch glimpses of news reports about their disappearances or vigils with family members praying for them.
Where Amanda's at right now, she's not at peace, her family's not at peace, and we just want her to come home. It's been way too long.
Through it all, the girls kept diaries, detailing their dark ordeal. Knowing they were not forgotten, they never lost hope that one day they would escape Castro's clutches to be reunited with their loved ones and free at last. Today, Amanda Berry and Gina Dejesus are sharing their diaries and their stories in a best-selling book, Hope, a memoir of survival in Cleveland. Amanda Berry and Gina Dejesus are here. That man stole everything from you that's worth living for. Your family, your freedom, your dignity. He stole years of your life. He tried to take your hope, but he couldn't. And I'm just curious how you managed to hold on for all that time.
For me, it was my family. I think seeing them and hearing them, knowing that they weren't giving up, that's what kept me strong.
Gina, did you ever think you'd get out of that house?
I knew one day we were going to get out of that house.
One way or another.
Yeah.
So, Amanda, you created a journal.
I did.
And you would keep track in that journal of how many times you'd been sexually assaulted. You'd write, 5X if it was 5 times that day. I'm going to read something from your journal if I can. She wrote this. It says, "My chain stretches," this is from 2004. "My chain stretches 5 feet from the radiator to my stomach. 5 feet has become the size of my whole world." You were kidnapped just the day before your 17th birthday. You had big plans. You're going to college, you had a career. Now this world that you had envisioned became just 5 feet large. How'd you keep up with that? Well, give me a sense of what it was like.
I mean, it was difficult at first. Not only just having to be in a room, but having everything taken away from you, your freedom, what you can eat, what you can say, what you watch. Turning the light on, like we couldn't turn the light on. We had to wait for him to come and turn the light on. So it was just, our whole life was turned upside down.
And Gina, how would you even go to the bathroom if you're chained to a post?
I had to like stretch my leg to reach my toilet and use the bathroom like that.
Did you ever go outside, ever get exposed to sunlight?
Not a lot. Just once in a great blue moon, he would take us out.
Did you ever get sick?
Yes.
And what happened then? What kind of care would you get?
He would give us like NyQuil and like maybe one time and give us tea.
Yeah, and he would make sure we took it. He would, you know, like a prison guard, you stand there and you watch them take the medicine and then you leave, because I guess he didn't want us to like collect the medicine or the pill that he gave us, and you know, so he was just really careful in what he did.
Collect the pills and do what?
Well, if we got that depressed, you know, if we would commit suicide, or I don't know what he was really thinking, but that's what I think, that's what he was thinking.
Did you ever think about committing suicide?
Yeah. In the very beginning, I think it was too hard to bear in the first 6 months, and I just wanted to go home, and it didn't seem like that was happening. But I was ready, but I couldn't. My family means too much to me.
So as precious as your family is, and your mom is especially, she passed away while you were in captivity, not knowing if you were alive or not. How'd you cope with that?
That was the hardest thing for me, because I feel like I always thought when I got home, I would run into her arms and she would be the one there to welcome me. It just didn't seem real. So.
She'd be very happy if she knew you were here today.
Oh, thank you. I know.
All right, we'll be right back.
Next, it's the story you haven't heard. Amanda speaks out about the baby she gave birth to while in captivity, how she coped with her abductor being the father, and the amazing story of how the three women finally escaped. Coming up next.
Gina Dejesus, survivors of the infamous Cleveland kidnappings. Amanda became pregnant 3 years into her captivity. Did you have fears what would happen with that baby?
I did. I really didn't know if he was going to keep it in the house, because he would always say, you know, we can't have a baby in the house, they cry, and he was just really nervous about that. So I really wasn't sure until she was born, and I could just see that he loved her.
That he loved her? Mm-hmm. You gave birth to a daughter, fathered by a man that you probably hated. Mm-hmm. The man would say he didn't feel guilty. You were in a boarded up apartment. I mean, how'd you even deliver the child?
Well, he put like a baby pool on the bed so there wouldn't be a mess, and he kind of sat in the rocking chair that was in the corner of the room, and he was reading a book about pregnancy and birthing, and Michelle sat next to me and held my hand and helped me through it, and she came in like 3 hours.
Into that little plastic pool. Mm-hmm. And how did having your daughter Jocelyn in the house change the house? Did it change your situation at all?
It did. He got nicer. He let us have a little more freedom. We had the chains on until about 2009, and as she was getting older, she noticed the chains. And so, you know, at first he put like socks around them, or he would take them off during the day when he was home, and then at night or when he was at work, he would chain us up. And then as time went on, he just completely took the chains off and just had locks on the doors.
Gina, did you feel that Jocelyn made everything better?
I did.
And how's Jocelyn doing today?
She's awesome. I'm very proud of her.
Sure. Does she ask you about her dad?
No, not really.
What are you going to say about her father when she does ask?
Right now, I don't know. It depends. I hope she's older. Definitely nothing right now.
At some point, she is going to ask.
I know. I mean, I'm going to tell her the truth, you know, as long as she's old enough. I want her to know, you know, she needs to know. And rather from me than somebody else.
Of course. And I want to understand how you broke out after all those years. He's so meticulous in keeping you locked away, chained away. What happened the day you escaped?
Well, he would leave the door open upstairs, but put a gate in between our hallway and the room, and because it was May, so it was hotter upstairs. You know, there was no windows open. The doors are, you know, the windows are boarded up, and so he left the door open, and usually he'd be downstairs or in the backyard or something. So that day, the door was open. Jocelyn, she was allowed to go downstairs, you know, if the door was open. We knew we weren't allowed. But she ended up going downstairs, and she came back up, and she said, "Mommy, Daddy's not here." And I said, "Yes, he is, you know, just go check, you know, go check again." And she came back, and she said, "No, Daddy's gone. His car is gone." So then at that point, you know, I'm thinking, well, what if he is? You know, my heart started pounding. I started racing the floor. I kind of just, after a couple of minutes, I kind of listened downstairs for anything, any sounds, didn't hear anything. Slowly walked downstairs to the front door. You know, I told Jocelyn, "Stay up here, don't move, don't do anything until I call you." And so I opened the front door. There was the swing in front of it, I think, or was it the chair?
It was the
swing. There was an outdoor swing that he kept in front of the door. He always had something in front of the door. So I moved that, I opened the door, and I was like, yes, like, thank God. And I started yelling for Jocelyn. And I go to open the screen door, and there was a lock on there that you needed a key to open it. So I start like pounding on the door. There was maybe this much room for me to put my arm in and kind of just wave it crazily. And I did. 2 neighbors came. I don't think they really knew what was going on or what was going on, so they kind of just turned away, didn't help me.
They turned away?
They did.
Have you ever met those neighbors?
No.
How could you turn away from a woman asking for help, crying for help?
I don't know if they didn't understand because they were Hispanic, or if they were scared of him, or, I mean, I still don't understand to this day why, but thank God, you know, I was still screaming like crazy. And the neighbor next door, Charles Ramsey, he came up on the porch, and he was asking me, you know, he heard me say, "I'm Amanda Berry, please help me." And he tried to open the door. He noticed it was locked. He couldn't open it. So he noticed the bottom of the door was like aluminum, and he kind of kicked it. And he said, "Well, just finish kicking it out." And I kicked it a little bit. It like opened, and me and Jocelyn climbed out.
Do you have any idea why he left your door open that day?
You know, I still don't understand why. I don't know if I ever will. I don't know if he was getting, you know, just tired of the whole double life or what, but I think maybe he just let his guard down. Yeah.
So Gina's mother, Nancy, and Amanda's sister, Beth, are joining us in the audience. I'd like to bring them into the conversation. So, Beth, let's start with you. Your sister's, you know, she's been gone for 10 years. Did you ever give up hope that she was alive?
No, I would never give up hope. Every day I just felt like she was out there close to me. And without a body or anything, my sister was coming home.
And Nancy, what did you feel when you realized that your daughter was free, that Gina was coming home?
Well, I knew eventually she was, because I used to state that she would be coming through my front door. When I was told, and I ran and made it to the hospital for the first time, unbelievable. Just to see her smile all over again and know that she was okay. And I never gave up the hope, just like that.
Gina, what was it like seeing your mom for the first time after all those years?
I was really happy when I seen my mom, and all we did was hug and cry.
What did you say to her?
That I loved her and I missed her very much.
It's a lot of missing. You know, I'm a heart surgeon. In heart surgery, sometimes the heart has injuries, get scarred. But the other parts of the heart work that much more in order to make up for the fact that there's a little bit that's not normal anymore. And it's got to stay alive. It keeps pumping as hard as it can. And when I see your story and hear this tale of families that never gave up hope and how hard you have worked to hold it together, both for the 10 years you were in captivity, but also trying to heal from these emotional scars. I got to say, I'm just in complete awe that you are the people you are right now. I don't want you to ever forget that. How Amanda and Gina have started to rebuild when we come back. You okay?
Next, find out how Gina and Amanda are working to overcome their unimaginable pain and start their lives over again. Plus, what they have to say about the way the story ended for their abductor.
I just find it cowardly.
Coming up next. Kidnapping, imprisoning, and enslaving 3 young women in his home for over a decade, Ariel Castro, the Cleveland kidnapper, is arrested and put on trial. He pleads guilty to 937 counts, including kidnapping and rape. On August 1st, 2013, he is sentenced to life plus 1,000 years in prison. 1 month later, on September 3rd, Castro is found dead, hanging from a sheet attached to a window hinge in his jail cell. Before his suicide, he writes in his diary, "I don't know if I can take this neglect anymore, and the way I'm being treated, I feel as though I'm being pushed over the edge, one day at a time."
Isn't that ridiculous? I don't know if I can take this neglect anymore. So after keeping both of you captive, torturing you, sexually assaulting you, this man couldn't last 1 month in a much better situation than you were in. Hey, Amanda, what would you say to him if he was here right now?
Well, after what he put us through for 10 years, you know, jail was like, it's nothing compared to what we went through. He got to know if his mom was okay. He got to talk to his family. He got to write to them. They knew he was okay. I mean, for him to not even be able to last a month, I just find it cowardly.
Yeah, he was a coward. And Gina, what kind of treatment do you think Castro received?
I think he should have got the same treatment he got that we got. I think he should have suffered.
Joining us in the audience is psychologist Dr. Robin Smith, who has helped patients overcome extreme trauma. I mean, this is almost unimaginable, the ordeal these young women went through. How do you get them through this and their families?
It is unimaginable. You know, I look at the two of you, and as Dr. Oz said, you're not only miracles, but you're actually an example for all of us that we can live through things that we can't imagine. One of the things, you know, Dr. Oz, I thought about as I was reading and knowing about your trauma and your tragedy is you have to call back your spirit. Because not only were you physically harmed and emotionally harmed and spiritually harmed, but your sense of being innocent in the world was stolen from you. But what you don't want to do is ever betray yourself.
Yeah, well stated, Robin. So I didn't think that you would bring something to the show for me, but I understand you did.
Yes.
So the stage is yours.
Wow, thank you. So in the house, you know, I spent a lot of time, as much time as possible, staying busy. And so I would write poetry, I would write hundreds of recipes, I would watch shows. And one of the shows that I would watch daily is, of course, Dr. Oz. And
you'd watch the show?
I did, yeah. So thank you, because you helped me.
Well, thank you.
So these were just some things that I would write down. You know, the vitamin E, the vitamin C, and why they're important, and this is the healthy shopping list. That, you know.
I remember doing these shows.
Yeah.
Dr. Oz's healthy shopping list. I don't know if you can. You know, I do the show to reach people. I never imagined, ever, that I would bring positivity into the lives of people who needed something so desperately. It just touches me profoundly.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. You can read lots more of Amanda and Gina's story in their book. It is wonderful. It's called Hope, a Memoir of Survival in Cleveland. I hope you all read it at home and let their survival bring hope to your lives. Thanks for all being here today. We'll be right back.